Hey, welcome everyone to the very first edition of the Mega Chop podcast with your host, Mega Chop CEO, aka Matt, whatever you want to call me. I'm very excited. This is a new era for us in our content creation. We started out with live streaming. We've continued live streaming. We moved into YouTube video creation. We've done different social media creation, TikTok, and we've just recently launched our first ever Level Up Life groups. A quick little plug for those. If you are battling through life, if you're struggling, if you're working through some things, we've got a life group for you. And this is not your typical group that you will see. We do this all over video games, and there is no topic that we shy away from, whether it's addiction, abuse, trauma, the whole 9 yards. Whatever anybody needs to talk about, we talk through it. Full disclosure, I'm not licensed. I'm not a counselor, so to say, but I do have experience and a background with facilitating groups, as well as doing some one-on-one coaching, life coaching, if you will, with individuals. So we have launched that. If you want more details, I'll leave information down below the video, but you can email me at megachopceo@gmail.com. Or you can find me on all social medias under Mega Chop CEO. That's me. We're going to get into this new era, like I said, and I'm very excited to start out with a video topic around perspective. I feel like perspective is crucial right now, where we are at in history, where we are at relationally, because every single person that you come across has their own perspective. I am a man. I've lived my whole life through the perspective of a man. I was raised Christian. I have my entire perspective and outlook on life is influenced through a lens of Christianity. I wear glasses, so my lens that I see life through, full pun intended, is a lens of somebody who's wore glasses. I'm a father, I'm a husband. These are all different lenses that I have that I see life through. I filter everything that comes at me, every interaction through all of these lenses, right? So it impacts how I see things from different perspectives. Just like you have all of your own lenses that you see life through. And these could be anything, you name it. It could be your hair color, your eye color, how you were born, where you were born, your likes, if you like video games, if you hate video games. These are all things that impact how you see life, how you see others, how you see situations and scenarios. It doesn't make it wrong or right. It's our life experiences, and it's important to understand that that's what impacts how we see everything on a day-to-day basis. Now, when we look at differences with people, especially those who we see life very differently from, does that make your lens more important than their lens? Or maybe does it make their lens more important than your lens? Is anybody's viewpoint that they see life through better than someone else's? Okay, but you're probably like, wait a minute, what about that guy who cut me off in traffic? I don't like his lens very much at all. Okay, it was a bad choice, right? Definitely. There's not disputing that he made a bad choice. But have you ever cut anybody off in traffic? Have you ever called somebody a name? Is it fair for somebody to label you for that split second in time where you made a bad choice? There are obviously some bad choices that are weightier than others that we make in life. But regardless, everybody has a past. Everybody's made different choices that they're not proud of. So is it fair to label somebody for their entire life for a split second decision? Does someone's split second decision make them less valuable than you? Does it make you more valuable than them? That moment, that split second in life, does not define you. It does not define them. That split second does not accumulate and suddenly become the full identity if you've lived life for 10 years or 20 years or 60 years. That one split second in life does not define your entire life. But wait a minute, what if they have a totally different opinion? Completely polar opposite opinion from me. It's totally okay to hate them, right? Well, have you lived minute for minute the experiences that they experienced in their life leading up to the point to their opinion? Have you walked every step in their exact shoes? Have you lived every moment of trauma that they've experienced? The only perspective, the only viewpoint that we can undoubtedly see completely is our own. We can empathize with others' viewpoints or situations, but we will never understand fully and completely somebody's life that brought them up until that point. We also have a tendency to quantify individuals' value based upon the level of contribution or value that they add to our lives. So if there's somebody who's helped you out a ton, oh my gosh, their value is way up here. But if there's somebody who's brought you nothing but pain and anguish, their value is way down here. Just got to make sure you can see my hands. If you're watching the podcast, clearly you won't see my hands, but I think you're visualizing that when I say way up here, my hand's up high. When I say way down here, my other hand's down low, okay? So we put these different values, and there's this sliding scale, right, that everybody kind of fits within in life. And you're like, well, if I talk to Joe, man, with all he's done in my life, I will prioritize him over everybody else. Or if I talk with this person. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't choose our time wisely and who we spend it with. Absolutely. But is it fair to place someone's value on that scale? There's no real, true, solid rating for anybody. It's a sliding scale, and it changes depending on the day and probably our mood. We also love to weigh people's value or worth based upon their beliefs. So if someone has this faith, if they're a Muslim, or if they're a Catholic, or they're a Hindu, we place different values based upon our experiences. If they believe this, we may discount them completely and be like, meh, they're worthless to me. Why would I care what they have to say, because these are their spiritual beliefs? I would debunk all of these and say that none of them are true, fair, or accurate ways to view other human beings. I would say that every single human being on the face of this earth right now has the same amount of value, has the same amount of worth. Now, I don't want you to get my words twisted right now either, because when I say that everybody has the same value, I am in no way trying to justify horrible things that people have done, physical or mental, or any type of abuse or things like that, right? I'm strictly talking about humans' intrinsic value, and especially talking about really our day-to-day interactions, not these exceptions to the rule. Which, again, I'm not implying that any human has less value, because I believe at the end of the day, everybody brings the same amount of value. And I would challenge everybody, what if we viewed everybody in that way? And we said, what can I do to try and better understand this person? What can I do to try and love this person or respond in love to this person? And I actually had an experience the other day that blew my mind, and I feel like illustrates this point very well. So I ended up getting a call, and it was a call from a number that was from my previous home state. And I was like, I know this is a scam call right off the bat. We have a tendency to just, right, swipe to the left, dismiss it, get them out of here. I'm not going to waste my time with them, because they're just trying to take my hard-earned money, right? They're some jerk on the other end, some person that's pathetic and worthless, and all they try and do is money grab and take my money, and they don't add any value. These are clearly some of the lowest valued people on the face of the earth, because all they do all day long is they try and steal our money. How dare they? How dare they try and take my hard-earned money? I got 3 daughters. Come on. So I've already got all these thoughts in my head, right? And I answer the phone, and here's some credit card. Hey, we can save you on your interest. Oh, interesting. I'm not interested. But of course I answer, and I say hello, and I get the automated message, and they say, oh, if you want to talk to a person, press this. Well, I felt compelled to press this, whatever this was. Maybe it was 2 or 1, talk to a person. I pressed it because I was like, I'm going to ask this person a question. So the person answers the phone, and they have what we would see as a stereotypical Indian accent, right? We're used to getting these calls and hearing an Indian accent greet us, and his name was Frank. I was like, Frank. He says, hey, I'm calling you because I want to save you on your credit card interest. And I was like, okay, Frank, but can I ask you a question? Frank was like, yeah, of course. And I said, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm going to get him. I'm going to bust him. I'm going to call him out right now. Frank, you're getting called out. So I said, Frank, what made you decide to wake up one day and choose that you were going to call people to steal their money? Yeah. I asked him, okay? And I bet y'all are ready to hear what I thought was coming next. Y'all probably thought it was coming next. Click. But I didn't hear a click right away. It was kind of dead air. It felt like I waited for like 5 minutes. It was probably like 10 seconds. And he said, so you want to know why I woke up one day and decided to steal people's money? I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to know, Frank. And he said, okay. He said, I want to be honest. You seem like an intelligent guy, and I clearly am not going to be able to take your money today. He said, so here's my situation. He said, I live in India right now, and the circumstances are not good. He said, our government is oppressing the people, and it's very difficult to find a good job. He said, I have a master's degree, and this was the only job that I've been able to get to provide for my family. Wow. He said that he was doing his best to get enough money to get out of this position. Right. And I'm not asking for anyone to be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I can understand why you would scam somebody out of money then. Not at all, right? Because at the end of the day, circumstances don't justify doing something illegal or wrong, right? So Frank is doing this to try and provide for his family. My point in this story, though, is we all expected to hear somebody who their life is intended to try and rob everybody else to make themselves richer. We don't expect to hear somebody who's living in a very difficult situation, trying to do everything they can to get themselves to a better spot. Right? And my goal of this is not to make anybody be like, okay, well, I welcome the scammer calls, or I don't have any problem with scamming anymore. Not at all. But it's to take a second, right? The point of the story is to take a moment in life and try to understand where someone else is coming from. For me, it was very difficult. I did not go into this scenario with the right heart. I went into it like, I'm going to bust this dude, and how dare he call me? And I came out of it being like, wow, Matt, you were really a jerk with your intent in going into it. But it opened up my eyes to be even more empathetic, to be even more caring, to be even more loving, regardless of how somebody is coming at me. Because I don't believe at the end of the day that Frank slept good at night, that he felt good about what he did, or that he even enjoyed doing it. He literally felt trapped into doing something that he would regret, I'm sure, far later in life. And I think he was already regretting it. Like, how do I get out of this? So at the end of the day, as we take a look at people and we value them based upon their contribution to our life, as we value them based upon their opinions, as we value them based upon their views and how they see life, it's wrong. And it's not okay. And I am by no means perfect at this yet. I am a work in progress, y'all. I'll be the first to admit that I need to work on my viewpoint, my perspective on certain people based upon what their viewpoints or standpoints are. But I hope after hearing this, after listening, that you are compelled to be more loving, more responsive to people who are coming from the other side of an aisle. I'm not telling you that you have to agree with their viewpoint. I'm not telling you that you have to be like, yes, I think we should have you stand on a mountain and shout your viewpoint. But what is it going to hurt you or I or us if we listen? If we give a person an opportunity to express themselves without bashing them, without degrading them, or without trying to figure out how we're going to respond to show them how wrong they are? What if we just listened and just heard everything that they had to say? Everything. I don't want you to even respond anything to the contrary. Just say, oh, okay, well, tell me more. Well, how did you make it to that choice? How did you make it to that decision? Why do you see this like this? What experiences in life led you to view things like that? You know what it would do? It would help us realize that there are other people just like you and me who have experienced hurt, trauma, pain. They've experienced all these things that have shaped their viewpoint to what it is. Some of these viewpoints may be unhealthy or even flat out wrong, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't listen to one another. Because how will you ever help someone see alternate viewpoints in life if you never listen to them? because you're going to have your viewpoint here, they're going to have their viewpoint here, and we have a giant chasm in between. There's nothing to bridge that gap if we don't listen to someone. But I guarantee you, it doesn't matter who it is. If we let someone talk, we will find plenty of Me Too moments to start bridging these gaps and to start creating less division in these chasms between us, making it a lot easier to bridge these gaps and be able to see someone else as another human that probably just needs some extra love. So I hope that after listening, you take some of this, you put it into practice, you really sit back and you think about how you respond to others. Because I want people to give you the same love and grace and respect that I'm asking you to give to them. And I believe that the more we do that, the more we will be able to impact our world one person at a time. And it's going to be world transforming interaction by interaction. Thank you guys so much for listening, for hanging out, for spending time. You are an absolute blessing to me. I hope that you got something out of this, and I look forward to the next time we talk. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic week.